he was at my last medical conference, so he's used to this routine.
Actually, I'm going to stand up, too. First of all, thank you very much, Richard. SK, thank you very much. Appreciate that. The whole idea of telling stories around lessons is a very intriguing one. It's an enticing one, and perhaps even more than that to do it in 15 minutes. So I have to give you a title for what I'm going to do. It's called Health and Wellness, a 15-minute tale of 2 fundamental understandings, 2 metaphors, 4 Aprils, 1 Band-Aid, a long-haul collaborative solution. And my time is just about up. The issue in terms of understanding my story is to recognize a couple of understandings. One is that the process of change and innovation, been doing this for 30 years with people, it runs through a pattern of intellectual, emotional, visceral before it becomes cellular, before it becomes part of who we are. You can't miss any of them, and it has to be visceral. The other part of it is that people run from pain faster than they run toward pleasure. So keep those things in mind as we go through the stories. Go ahead and bring up the slide. I'm going to go with a series of Aprils. The first April I'm going to take you back to would be April 1969. It's Vietnam time. What they did with me was to send me up to the Arctic Circle. So here I am, a 19-year-old kid, all of the war going around me, the Cold War raging, and I'm sitting in the middle of the Arctic Circle at a radar site. What's the purpose of radar, by the way? Yeah, it's detection, early intervention, all these kinds of things. Think about that in terms of a metaphor. We go about our life, and all of a sudden there's a blip dealing with our family or our children or our personal health, and we say to ourselves, but wait a second, I'm really busy right now. Besides that, somebody else will take care of it, and maybe it doesn't exist. We go on some more, and all of a sudden there's another blip here, and you say to yourself, yes, but indeed, I'm really too busy right now. Besides that, somebody else will take care of it, and maybe it doesn't exist. And then all of a sudden we find one day we turn around and our personal sky is inundated with all of these blips, and then what do we say? Didn't see that coming, got blindsided by that. No, you didn't. You saw it coming, and you said to yourself, you know what, I'm too busy right now. Besides that, somebody else will take care of it, and maybe it doesn't exist. Hold on to that metaphor during the day and a half that you're here with this group. Certainly from a professional standpoint, but more from a personal standpoint in terms of your personal radar. All right, let's go ahead and jump to April 1999, another April. 30 years later, after I left there, I went on to graduate school, wrote a bunch of books, lectured on the whole issue of medical self-responsibility, early detection, early intervention, following that whole radar metaphor. All of a sudden, remember, it goes from intellectual to emotional to visceral before it's cellular. The issue of personal responsibility, intellectually, did I understand it? I think so. Emotionally, did I have my hallmark moments with it? Yes, of course, I did. Viscerally, remember, cellular change doesn't occur until there's visceral moments in life. Now, follow this metaphor. This is your story, not my story. I simply lived the pathology of it. So we've got April 1999. I walk into my accountant's office to have my taxes paid. They were used to me showing up late. It's April 8th. I walk in the door, and my accountant's looking a little peaked, and I say to him, how are you? Are you okay? This is a guy I've known for 25 years. He says, not really. I'm actually in my 2nd round of chemotherapy. How do we let so much time go by in our lives without paying attention to the important things? Here's a friend of mine, a guy I care about, and he just told me he was sick. No, I think he just said he had cancer. So he saw the look on my face, and he said, yeah, I had a radical mastectomy back in January. You know the times when you hear something but you don't think you've heard it? And I'm thinking, and he saw my face, and he said, yes, shocked me as well. Never heard of it before. Men with breast cancer, never heard before. I gave him a hug. I said, I'll say a prayer for you. I walked out of his office, down the hall, down the stairs, onto Main Street in Ann Arbor, Michigan, walking to my car, and for the first time in my life, I do a self-breast exam. Guys, when's the last time you did your self-breast? Yeah, exactly. So I'm walking along the streets of Ann Arbor, and I do a self. By the way, if you've been to Ann Arbor, you know you can do anything on Main Street, so this is nothing. I just run 10K, just finished writing a new book, and all of a sudden, I stopped dead in my tracks. Right behind the right nipple, hard as a rock, there's something, I'm not sure what it is, like a half marble, doesn't hurt, and I think, the power of suggestion, what are the odds my account? But wait a second, my whole professional career has been writing about personal responsibility, early detection, early intervention. I can't ignore it. My radar is now on. Here's the deal. Once this goes on in your life, there's no more victim. There's no more deferring it to somebody else. There's a responsibility, no matter how it comes on. I call my family doc. I tell him I'd like to see him. This is happening. He says, oh, my goodness, don't worry about it. No, my practice, never, never, never. But you know we can always squeeze you in. Opportunity number one to say I'm too busy, and I'm sure it doesn't exist. I got to go. I hear my own lectures. I go in. I can't see him. I see a female physician, I think even better, more familiar with the tissue, more sensitive to the touch. She says, Michael, 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 don't worry about it. Probably a cyst. I've never seen it in my practice. If you'd like, here's a referral to a general surgeon. Most men I know, having two docs say, don't worry about something, what would they do with that referral? You're going to crinkle, crunch, throw it away. I don't want to deal with this issue. My radar is just beaming. I'm choosing what? Well, I have no choice. I hear my stupid lectures in my head. I've got to go to the surgeon. I'm sitting in the waiting room with all of these women who've got real issues, feeling a little uncomfortable. Not just because I'm a guy, but because I feel good right now. Even though the radar is on and there's something out there, I feel good. So I have an intellectual involvement, I have emotional involvement, but I'm still moving forward with the concept of everything is fine. I meet with him, what's going on, never heard of it before, not sure. Yeah, I do remember a colleague, something there. What would you like to do? These are the moments in life when somebody says to you, what would you like to do? What I'd like to do is walk away. I don't want to talk about this issue, but there is a responsibility at this point. Long story short, take it out. When they did, they took it out, invasive ductal carcinoma. I had breast cancer. They said I had 30 days before they anticipated it would spread, a grade 3 tumor. What are the odds in terms of that happening, of my being here? It takes a lot of collaboration. It takes a lot of things in the universe for that to occur. All right. Take that metaphor, let's rush ahead again. Now we're going to go to April of the year 2002, Dallas, Texas. I'm continuing my lecture circuit. I talk to people all the time. I go into Denver, Buffalo, Brussels, Amsterdam. I go into London. I go all over the country, all over the Western world talking about these issues. I'm in Dallas. Usually when I go into a town, I talk to a bunch of docs. I come back in 3 weeks. I talk to a bunch of farmers. I come back in 3 weeks. Sometimes they rent a theater in the community, and I talk to just like folks like us. I'm in Dallas, I look out, I got 600 people there. And I all of a sudden realize I've got docs, I've got farmers, I've got employers, I've got real regular people. They don't like each other, but they're in the same room together. It reminded me of Network. Remember the movie where Peter Finch says, go to the window, open the window, yell as loud as you can, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore? So I tell this group, I want you to do that in your head. Open that window, yell, you're mad as hell, because you're mad, you're angry, this is healthcare. What are you angry about? Who are you angry with? What are you going to do about it? So I get 600 sets of blank eyes staring at me. And I said, no, what? So you hear this rumbling, and you hear it's the lawyers, it's the doctors, it's the pharmacists, the insurance company with those outrageous perks and all of those other issues. So all of this venom and all of this passion comes from the rooms, and then finally it settles down for a second, and I say, is there anybody else? And there's a quiet whisper, and it says, us. And if the plural is us, the singular is, oh, wait a second, it's not my fault. That's not how I get it. It's not my. The whole issue is it doesn't matter with healthcare. The passion is there. So we've gone from the intellectual, we've gone from the emotional, and now it is visceral because it involves both hemispheres of the brain. It's not just those who care about people and want to do good. It's also those who care about people and count the beans. We're responsible for the economics. We have a phenomenal opportunity when it comes to changing healthcare. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening. There's Band-Aid approaches. We're finally saying there's one healthcare road, period. If you want to drive a semi down that road, God bless you, have a right to do that. Understand, come every spring when the potholes are there, those who are driving Volkswagens are going to get tired of paying for your potholes. It's plain and simple. Do it. So there are plans across the nation that are saying, I will facilitate you getting into a more efficient vehicle that will improve the quality of your life, also save the economics, and increase productivity, but you have to participate. If you choose not to, again, God bless you, you have a right to do that, but you're going to pay me for those potholes. Wait a second, I'm a kid born in the 40s, raised in the 50s. I understand the Roosevelt, through Truman, through Eisenhower, through Kennedy and Johnson, and so on, that my job is to get sick, it's somebody else's job to pay for it. No more. There's no money. It's empty. Now, the last piece of this, move ahead to 2015, April 2015. It's changing dramatically. Insurance companies are now going to be really in the risk management business. your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, they're going to receive a whole genetic chart when they leave that says you have a propensity for cancer. So the BRCA gene that I carry, that now I know I carry, in terms of propensity for breast cancer, you'll know right away. All the other diseases, and here's the deal. If you work with us, of course I'll ensure you, in fact, your rates will be lower, because in this room I know somebody's going to have a heart attack. I don't know who. In 2015, I'm going to have a pretty good idea who's going to have a stroke, who's going to have diabetes, who's going to have these conditions. If you work with me, the new plan, the health plans currently won't do it. The new plan, and they're on drawing boards, they'll work with you. Here's my close. It's going to be collaboration. I can't do it. I understand certain parts of it. I need city planners. I need teachers. I need infrastructure that allows us to have a central repository of medical records. I need the support of everybody. That's the only way we're going to solve this. I need a factory. I need a place where people who are thinking in their channels can get together with me, and we can combine and we can solve this problem. So with that, I thank you for being here, and I appreciate your time.